What up, it's Brennan here and welcome back to the Tip Trick series, a series where I teach you a new trick. And today we're going to be learning the back Fahrvergnugen. Also known as the back Farv, the back Nugen, the back full torque, and even the back reverse royale. So what is a back Fahrvergnugen? Well, like the original name of the trick suggests, it is a back royale but in reverse. It is an H-block or groove trick that you grind with your H-block and your boot touching, or your H-block and your backside plate. So your dominant foot will be in the backside groove, and your non-dominant foot will be in your far side groove. This trick was most likely invented by John Schmidt. It was shortly after the royale had just been invented. John just decided to try to do a royale in the reverse direction. And he named it the reverse royale. Shortly after, the trick was then renamed by Chad Grout to Fahrvergnugen, which loosely translates from German to driving pleasure, or a nice ride. And the reason Chad called it this was because of his love for his Volkswagen car, and they had an ad campaign going around at the time mentioning Fahrvergnugen.
That pleasure of driving called Fahrvergnugen.
If you want to know more about the history of the Fahrvergnugen, I'll link to an article by One Mag that's really good and dives into the history of it in the description. And not only is the Fahrvergnugen a super steezy dope trick, it's also really good for switch ups, is one of the basics, and can actually be easier to learn than the royale for some people. That's enough about the trick. Let's get on to my recommendations for learning it. My first recommendation is going to be that you check out the Book of Grinds. This website will give you a really good close in-depth look on what the Nugen is, and it'll be a really good start to the trick. My second recommendation is that you try to learn this trick on ledge. I think it's a lot safer to fall on ledge than it is to fall on rail or coping. I'm also going to recommend that you do this trick with your dominant foot or your Markio foot as the foot that's in the torque. So it's the foot in front of the back Nugen. This is the more normal way, and I think it's the easier way. Some people are different, so yeah, that's just the way I'm going to recommend, but you can do it the other way if it feels better to you. I'm also going to recommend that you master the backside in the direction that you want to do the Nugen, as well as the Mizu, and possibly the Royale as well. Royale not so much, it'll just help you get an idea of how to get in your groove. And the final recommendation I'm going to give is that you try to learn this trick skating either anti-rocker or freestyle, just because this is a trick prone for wheel bite. So it's going to be a lot harder for someone skating flat. But these are just recommendations. Everyone learns different. So if you think you have a better chance with a different thing than I recommend, definitely do that instead of what I say. This is just my personal recommendations. That's enough recommendations. Let's move on to my step-by-step guide for learning the back Fahrvergnugen. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go find a crack on the ground and store this on the flat. What I want you to focus on here with this is getting your sole plate touching the ground on your dominant foot. Your feet should be shoulder width apart and above your shoulders. You should be bending your knees. A really good tip that Acosta Blades brought up is that you should push your non-dominant foot's knee towards your dominant foot. That'll help you get more down into the groove. Once you've found that right position, try jumping into it from the crack like you would a ledge, so be parallel to it and jump into it. Once you're getting it to the point where you're landing with your sole on the ground at the same time, you're not kind of landing on your wheels and tweaking into it. I want you to land directly into the sole, then we can move on to step 2. Now for step 2, we're going to move on to stalling this on a ledge. First off, you can step onto the grind just to help you feel out where that groove's going to sit. The goal here is to jump and land 2 foot, because you know, it doesn't count if you step into it. You got to land 2 foot, you got to jump 2 foot. That's just an opinion, but you'll thank me later if you learn it like that, okay? So when you land in this, most of your weight should be on your heels. Your weight distribution between feet, you should have 70% of your weight on your dominant foot. That's the foot that's in the torque, and then 30% on the other foot. Something that might help too, depending on the skates you have, the backside plate might be lined up a little differently. If you've got M12s like me, then your feet are going to be on a slight, like a 45-degree angle to the coping. That'll help you get in the groove better. But if you have something like the Razor Shifts or the Razor SLs, where the backside plate perfectly lines up with the H-block or the frame, then you want to stay completely 90. If you're really struggling to jump and land in the Nugen for a stall, a way they can help you get into it is to do it like a Mizu. Jump at it like you're jumping into a Mizu grind, but then put your back heel up as you go to land, and that should help you get the feel of jumping into the Nugen. Once you're confidently jumping and landing in your groove on the stall with 2 feet, no stepping, then we can move on to step 3. So for step 3, we're going to try slide the back Fahrvergnugen at a slow speed. So approach the ledge at a slow pace, at a slight angle, You can jump at it like a Mizu, like the store, just to trick yourself into doing it. That'll definitely only work if you're skating anti or freestyle. If you're skating flat, you're just going to wheel bar if you do it like a Mizu. But remember, just the same as before, you're going to jump up, you're going to have your feet above your shoulders, you're going to put weight on your heels, you're going to have 70% of your weight on your dominant foot. When you land in it, I want you to think about pushing your non-dominant knee towards your dominant foot. That'll help you really tweak out the groove, and man, it gets fun once you learn how to do that. Now, a trick to not get hurt when falling in this trick is to just go with whatever's happening. If you're sticking, just go with it. If you're going to land fakie, just go with it and roll away. If you're going to come out forward, you should just be able to roll away if it sticks. If you're not getting in the backside plate, just turn it into a backslide. You end up super safe then. It's definitely safer to do that than to stick, so I would always be kind of thinking about leaning back a bit more than you think. I would definitely recommend trying to come out of this forward, just because I find that so much easier. I know some people like to just fully 180 out of it. I find that way a lot more dangerous to fall if it sticks. So I'd be always thinking about coming out forward. Remember to keep low as well. It's always lower than you think. That's what I find anyway. The lower you are, the easier it'll be to get into that groove. Once you feel it lock in and you're sliding, try to look towards the end of the obstacle, and that'll help you stay on it a bit longer. Once you're confidently sliding this at a slow speed, we can move on to the final step, which is step 4. And you probably guessed it, but step 4 is we're going to full send this trick. You're going to go into this with full confidence at a good speed to make it the whole way across. For landing any trick, a huge key to landing it is confidence. You're going to go into this grind just thinking you've got this perfectly, and you're just going to do it exactly how you see it in your mind. So skate at a speed, follow all the same steps, you know, keep your feet above your shoulders, keep low, keep most of your weight on your dominant foot, land on that backside plate, push your non-dominant knee towards your dominant foot, look towards the end of the obstacle, make it to the end, come out forward or backwards, whatever feels most natural, and lace that trick. Once you land 3 in a row, you've officially learned the back Fahrvergnugen. Now before we go, I've got some bonus tips again. If you're trying to learn this trick on Quater, it is a little bit different, but you can follow the same steps, you know, do a stall, do it slow, do it fast. I found you need to get a little bit lower on Quater. I personally find it a lot scarier to try to get low on Quater. The balancing is a little bit different too. Your weight's more on the center of your foot than it is your heel. If you have a really good Quater, you'll get away with doing it on your heels, but you're probably going to find you're going to be rolling up on the top of the ledge next to the Quater too much. So like every grind on Quater, you're going to go into it thinking that you're coming back down the ramp, otherwise you won't go down the ramp. So you're always slightly more forward than you would be on any other obstacle. Now if you're doing this trick on rail, I don't have any clips for this because I haven't had any nice rails to skate, but the steps are essentially the same, but you're going to have way less wheel bar issues. And you're going to be more on top of the rail. So the rail is going to be directly under your shoulders when you do it. The only problem here is the falls are going to hurt a lot more. So always be ready to catch that rail. If you miss the trick and you're falling, grab the rail. It'll save you no matter what. Even if you're upside down, you'll land back on your feet if you grab the rail. And yeah, that's it for my back Fahrvergnugen tip trick. I hope you learned a new trick. You should let me know if you did. If you need some extra help and you have some questions about the trick, let me know in the comments down below and I'll help you out if I can. I love making these tip tricks. I love this series. I want to keep doing it. So let me know if there's another trick you want me to teach you in the comments as well. And I'll try to keep these coming more regularly. Also, before we go, this shirt here, along with the whole animal series, is actually going away forever at the end of this month. So by February 29th, you won't be able to get it anymore. So if you've been sitting on the fence about getting one, now's the time to get it. And you'll be supporting me and I'd appreciate it a lot. So yeah, there'll be a link to the description as well. But anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. Huge shout out to my patrons, Rollerblading, Adam, Kevin, Chris, Deb, Dennis, Fabian, Joel, Lake Brothers Blading, Mark, Mike, Nathaniel, Sean, Skids Grind Plates, Sweet Moves, Targi, and the Book of Grinds. And I'll see everyone next week. Peace out.